Hi everyone, my name is Alexia and I am the founder and owner of Alexia Academic Consulting. And for today we're going to talk about time management because this is actually something that I noticed that a lot of my students have trouble with the most. And it's also something that can dramatically affect the outcome of your standardized tests as well as your college admissions if you are a disorganized hot mess. So this is how you go from disorganized hot mess to superstar applicant. First things first is get a calendar and write everything down. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So you should know when your test date is, when your registration date is, when you need to have all of your information in by, such as your recommendation letters. Teachers, they got other things to do than worry about your rec letter, so make sure you are ahead of the game with that. And just so many other things, write it down. And then if you check your calendar all day throughout the day, you'll know what you have due. You should also put your studying, like what you plan to do for each course, as well as your outside work, your sports, your extracurricular. I personally live by my planner. I like to do my days in 2-hour blocks because I feel like 2 hours is enough to get anything done, factor in commuting, and I view my day in those increments, and even how I schedule my clients. And the biggest thing is whenever you're trying to manage your time is to make sure that your time and everything that you're doing is factoring into your lifestyle. So for instance, I know when I'm best, I know when I'm energetic, and I schedule clients, I do all of my most important tasks during that time. And then when I feel like, oh, this is my time of day where my brain is going dead, then that might be when I normally might clean, cook, or things like that that don't require me to be fully mentally alert. So that would be number 2, is listening to your body. So number 3 is get organized. So you need to declutter and you need to get into a routine. I find that I actually perform better when I have a routine. So every morning I wake up at 4 a.m. The first thing that I do is get myself ready for the day. I walk my dog and I'm working out by 5 a.m. And then right after that, send text messages to all my clients, look at my day, what it looks like, look at the task I have to do. So I pretty much do those same things. It might switch throughout my day, like what I might have to do extra, but in general, I tend to follow that routine in the morning, and I have my set days. I actually revolve my life around my dog, who right now, as we can see, is trying to come back inside. So we're gonna let him in. Packing over here for Paris. I leave for Paris tonight. So I'm actually working to the last minute on social media, and you see, I manage my time. I was planning to do this right before I left, so with all the other things I have to do. Okay, so routine is great. That's something I recommend. I also recommend blocking things off by hours, like how I said I like to set up my schedule, because it just allows for you to visualize as well as kind of pace yourself. And if you're someone that can get lost in a task or lost in the sauce, as they call it, and it can be really difficult to get back on topic or to switch to something else, and you have a bunch of stuff due and you're overwhelmed by it all, if you block things off by hours, say I'm gonna work on this for 2 hours and that for 2 hours, then at least at the end of the day you've done a little bit of something of everything. So that is something that I do advise. The next thing is for number 4 for your time management is to wake up early. You'll have more hours in the day if you wake up early. And you'll also notice that your peers are not necessarily awake at this time, so you are already outworking your competition. Number 5, color coordinate. So what that means, one thing I used to do when I was studying for the MCAT, which is the test you take to get into medical school, is I would have different highlighters. So like a pink, a yellow, a green, and an orange. And for instance, orange could mean that I was going to be doing something fun. Green could mean school, yellow, work, and then the other thing, studying. And so each day I always made sure to reflect each colors in my planner. And that also gave me balance, because you don't want to be doing too much of one thing, like too much of studying one day or too much fun, because you're thrown off balanced, and too much of one thing is never good and you won't get the results that you're looking for. Next is you should eliminate distractions. So for me, my whole house is a distraction. So, sometimes I might want to cook, I might want to play with my dog, I might want to do something else, but I find that I'm best working when I've eliminated all my distractions. I just lock myself in my office, I'm doing my own thing when no one else is around. So you should turn off your phone. There are certain apps that can actually block times when you go on Instagram and prevent you from actually even opening the app. If social media is something that's distracting to you, or text messaging, then tell yourself, I'm going to study for X amount of hours, and during these hours I will not have any electronics on. I won't be surfing the internet or doing whatever you do when you should be studying. So eliminate your distractions, because it might seem fun today, but in the future, you're gonna be like, I wish I studied more, instead of watching that pointless YouTube video, because I can guarantee you the day that you take your test, there's gonna be some new pointless YouTube video out or some new trend, so don't distract yourself with that. Next is batch your task into things all at once. So I have so many different things to do in my day. I'm either seeing clients one-on-one, I'm doing things around my house, or common apps, college interviews. It's a lot of tasks, marketing, social media. So I found that I'm most successful if I focus on one task at a time and get it all done. For instance, right now, I'm recording a bunch of social media. It's my least favorite task to do. So if I just batch it all at once, it's done, it's out of the way. Treat your tests and your stuff like that. Next is learn to multitask. You should be making everything that you do work with your life. So if you know that you are very busy and you commute via Metrolink, or your parents take you to school, or other things like that, I used to have sometimes like up to 30 minutes commutes between class, just like with either an Uber to class, or a bus, or sometimes traffic, or the metro, and other random things. I took advantage and viewed every single time as study time. Even when I was brushing my teeth, I had Khan Academy videos in the background when I was studying for the MCAT. I also loved the organic chemistry tutor. I would watch his videos. I would be doing other things like, okay, I know I gotta straighten my hair. I should have this on in the background. So I'd pause the video, I'd recite everything to myself, do what I'm doing. Even now, like, I can be cooking, talking on the phone to a client, working on marketing, editing an essay, all at the same time. So learn to multitask, and anything that you can do, especially videos are great. Alexia Academic Consulting offers a lot of online courses that have all of the content that you need for your ACT, SAT, and PSAT. The next is to prioritize what's important and make cuts as necessary. I feel like sometimes when we have the tendency to procrastinate, we have the tendency to do everything that does not matter in that moment, at that moment, when we should be doing what we should be doing. So if you know you got a test coming up, or you have tutoring and you have homework due, you should be prioritizing that first, and then do all the other miscellaneous tasks. And if you get what you hate out of the way first, then it just makes the rest of your day so pleasant. And the last piece of advice I have for effective time management skills is to be realistic with yourself and set a schedule. So I am very guilty of putting 85 million things on my to-do list. And I do have very ambitious goals to always get them done. However, life happens, clients need to talk, parents need to talk, sessions run over. Some things just don't get done. And that's okay. But be realistic with yourself when you're making your schedule. If you're like, I can only get done 2 things per day, or 1 thing per day, or even your guidelines. For instance, with me, I know if I'm launching a new project or doing other things, I need a month to plan, execute, talk to everyone I gotta talk to, where someone might can do it in a day, but for me, with everything that I have going on, that's when I can deliver. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to effectively manage your time. And for more information, or if you would like to sign up for one of our master classes where you can effectively manage your time into condensing 4 months of ACT and SAT prep into just 1 day, then visit AlexiaAcademicConsulting.com. The link is in the bio.